we're back, and we're talking about England going home. Sean's joined us again. I'm assuming. Sean, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Sean, how long have you worked for the NSA, and how easy is it to crash a Spreaker show?
I think I do it every time I'm on, so.
Fantastic. No, we're glad that you joined us. Let's dig into the glorious news that, I mean, listen, none of us ever had any doubt. England made an absolute mess of this entire tournament. Now, granted, I don't think that they were necessarily horrible against Italy. I thought Italy was fantastic. I mean, I was really surprised to see that from that Italian side. I mean, obviously, had a good performance in Euro 2012. They've had some injuries. I mean, Montalivo's out. Some of the selections, from Prandelli, in my opinion, okay. I mean, I guess if you know what you're talking about, well, I mean, it's really come good. I mean, they were sublime to watch, and I mean, England had absolutely no answers. There were numerical advantages down the flanks all night long. Hodgson didn't have any sort of tactical flexibility to be able to deal with that. He just sticks with a 4-4-2. He just sort of sits back. He relies on pace on the counter, and if you have somebody that's having an off night from a finishing standpoint, like Wayne Rooney, I mean, his ball in for the goal was superb, but I mean, several chances that he had to put the ball away, and he just didn't do it. How happy are you on a scale of like 1 to 10, and 11 is passable as well? Sean, first you.
Well, I'm loving it, but I'm still not counting them out completely. I don't think it's totally out of the question that they could squeak in to the next round. But
okay, Sean, that's a bummer. Yampy, your thoughts?
Why didn't the show fail at that point, man?
Yampy, on a scale of 1 to 11, and please, feel free to say 12. How happy are you, with the situation now with England? I mean, it really opens up a new element in terms of, everybody complains about the media, and specifically the English media, and my heart and my sympathy goes out to, the Scottish people having to deal with ITV, BBC, I mean, the English wankers talking about, I mean, it could be, the middle of Nigeria, Iran, and all they're talking about is England. I mean, it's got to be infuriating, and then they wonder why people want anybody but England to win. But I digress. Your thoughts?
On a scale from 1 to I had an erection, I'll probably go with the I had an erection part. It was absolutely fantastic, Graham. I loved it in the first match, seeing fucking Pirlo lord it all over fucking Bam Bam's boy, Stevie Gerrard.
Is that the cigar you're smoking like?
And the rest of those fucking tri-lion tits. And I loved it again, seeing fucking Suarez just doing his little, I'm down to my knees and looking up to the heavens, and yes, I just pumped you, Joe Hart, for the second time today.
Joe Hart had a bit of a precious response. Did you see the video clip of him asking for the ball late on in the game? I mean, obviously, well, I mean, you want to see passion, you want to see intensity from your players, but he came off like English. I don't know. I mean, like, he kicks the advertising board. He's yelling at some poor kid that's having, an absolute dream event, being the ball boy in the World Cup in your home country, assuming that, he would be Brazilian. And then you have Joe Hart's dumbass coming over and, screaming and yelling at you like, a petulant child. I mean, he pretends like he's one of the best keepers in the world when he isn't even one of the best keepers on his team.
He looks like that fucking clown from Dawson's Creek. What was his name?
James Vanderbeek.
Oh my God, what a fucking bag. I just, oh my God, he's such an asshole. I actually had one of my students in one of my classes had the wallpaper of Joe Hart on there, and I walked past him and I said, why don't you get a real goalkeeper's wallpaper on that computer? And he's like, I don't need your crap, Mr. Richards. And I said, yeah, you do, dude. I said, put Fraser Foster on there. I didn't say the fucking person, but that Joe Hart's a loser. Oh. I can't. Dude's an asshole. He's the product of playing for a club like Man City that he gets the notoriety he does. He's not better than Fraser Forster. He's not a number one keeper. That second goal, it was perfect. Whoever did the thing with the meme about the Matrix where fucking Neo's dodging that one bullet. I mean, the fucking goal went right over his shoulder. And I mean, I'm happy because England lost as a result. But you're right. Forster, after these 2 games, did Joe Hart cover himself in glory at any point in time? Nah. Forster should be the number 1. And if we lived in a vacuum, that won't happen. Because now if he's switching up goalies and Forster stood on his head and England still didn't manage to get in, then everybody's going to be second guessing and say, well, why didn't Forster start all 3 games?
Yeah.
So that'll never fucking happen. Joe Hart's an asshole. So I hope that the Ticos absolutely fucking pump his ass this last game and just finish off the fucking, just put the horse out of its mercy. Just put the horse out of its mercy.
Yeah, and we do hope that the poor child that had the Joe Hart wallpaper definitely sees the error in his ways. My question would be, how does his father ever stop punching him? But I digress.
He seems like he's a kid, man. They're like, you were 15 once, made bad choices. His is he's a Manchester City kid who just happens to have a man crush on fucking Joe Hart.
Just for those who may be a bit slower to pick things up, that was a joke. I can definitely see tweets coming in tomorrow like,
advocating beating kids.
It's offside, mate. Beating kids. No, that's not on. That was a joke.
Yeah, let him do it to me. I'll add it to my illustrious block list.
Sean, beating children, pro or con?
Con, definitely.
Okay, very, very rational, very well thought out response there. Mexico. I talked a little bit about some of their struggles coming through qualifying. I mean, obviously we're Celtic guys first, but it's the World Cup and international competition. We want the U.S. to do well, and with that being the case, we have to hate Mexico. I mean, Mexico is they are the Huns of North America. They throw urine bombs at our players, our managers, our journalists. I mean, sometimes the journalists deserve it, but talking about offside behavior. What I mean, is it hard to sort of feel good for Mexico? I mean, considering where they came from, they qualified 4th out of CONCACAF, which is sort of like finishing 7th in the SPL. There is a sliver of me that kind of feels like this is an underdog, feel good kind of story for them coming out of nowhere, and I mean, there's a huge amount of potential for them. Yampi, your thoughts? I mean, can you possibly support them, root for them, if they're not playing the U.S.? I mean, do you hope they I mean, are you going to hope that they lose, don't qualify, and do as poorly as possible? I mean, what's your take there?
Mexico?
Yeah.
Fucking can't stand them. I mean, absolutely can't stand them. Are you kidding me? When we fucking send the U.S. men's national team to their fucking stadium, and you got 100,000 people with the puta every time you kick the fucking ball and everything. Puta! And they're throwing piss bombs at people and stuff. I mean, what the fuck is that all about? You imagine standing in the stands. You're going to sit there, hey, buddy, do you happen to have a spare empty 1-liter plastic bottle so I could fill up, or a Ziploc bag will do? Like, you must be, like, having a dude walking around like he's a fucking Wawa. Yeah, hold on, man. I got some stuff over here. You need a little tinfoil to wrap that with, too? I mean, come on. Am I on Mars here, dude? You're going to have people throwing piss bottles at other fans. Go watch the fucking game. It's a game, dude. Your team does great, fantastic. Your team sucked and they lost. Oh, well, shit happens. There will be tomorrow. The earth will turn. Chill the fuck out. I mean, what are you going to sit there and if you bring your kid to a game, you're going to be like hearing puta all fucking night. And they're going to be like, Daddy, what does that mean? You're going to just sit there and be creative. Come on, Graham, one day, someday soon, your son's going to grow up and then you're going to be like, all right, you have to explain these things because people can't fucking sit there and watch a game without calling someone a female dog or this or that. I hate L-Train. Absolutely hate them. I told you the story. I have an ELL class where all the kids that weren't from Mexico absolutely hate Mexico. They're from the other Central and Southern American countries.
Oh, yeah. And that's a point of contrition as well. Just because someone comes from Central America, that actually probably means they hate Mexico more.
Yeah, it's not just a U.S. thing. Oh, they hate everybody, man. Yeah. No, not at all.
Not all Hispanic people are Mexicans. So,
let's have a little world culture lesson for a minute. And when we talk about Mexico, to sit there and they hold their nose and their thumbs down and the whole 9 yards. And, Mexico has not ingratiated themselves with anybody. They have not been the nice neighbors to anybody with the countries and little republics around them. So they can go kiss my ass. There's not a thing I like about Mexico. Whenever I see them, I'm always rooting against them. They are definitely our version of Rangers.
Sean, anything to add before we move on?
I totally agree with Yompy there. Dude, I can't stand watching them. Anytime anybody they play in CONCACAF qualifying. I remember the one game when I think they were playing Costa Rica at Azteca, and Brian Ruiz is taking a corner, and they had friggin' riot police barricading around the corner flag to protect him from the shit getting thrown at him. So
flying piss.
Yeah, and whatever else they're throwing.
And for our listeners who again might not be quick on the uptake, that's not a joke. There actually is flying piss. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but yeah. So I mean, I even as much as I can't stand the Brazilian national team anymore.
Oof.
Watching that game the other day, I was pulling for them, which I probably haven't done in years. So
let's expand on that a little bit, because I think that this is something that in spite of the fact that Brazil has not been the same side essentially for the past 10 years, really. Since Big Phil, they won the World Cup in South Korea, Japan. It wasn't the standard fare Brazilian style of play, but they had Ronaldo, Ronaldinho. The whole side was littered with talent that can just take the game over, and tactics essentially become irrelevant. This Brazilian side doesn't have that same level of talent and of quality, and add into the fact that they've, I think, grown up with this newer sort of cynical style of play within Brazil. And we're seeing the product of it. No longer. This isn't the Samba Boys anymore. This is the Polka Boys. At one time there was a flair and a flow and an attractive element to the way that Brazil would play, and now it's absolute garbage. There's flopping, diving. There's no quality in on the final third. Fred. Who the hell is Fred? First off, the fact that Fred, whoever the fuck Fred is the striker for Brazil. It's absolutely pathetic. Fred is following in the footsteps of Ronaldo, one of the best strikers of our time. Fred, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Yamper, your thoughts?
Not a big. I think their first game against Croatia. They're a good side, man. They're a very good side. Everybody expects Brazil every time they play. It's either they're going to be in the finals or they're going to either losing the finals or winning the finals. Losing the finals, winning the finals. I see people with Brazil jerseys and want to fucking puke because they're just like bandwagoners and shit. I was distracted there for a moment because I know when we were talking about Mexico, and I thought of when you had mentioned earlier Memo Ochoa. He's out of contract, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, 28 years old, 6'1" goalie, right? What would you say? I'm just going to sidetrack for a second since the World Cup here.
Please.
But how nice would he be as a guy out of contract because his club in France got relegated? How nice would he be as a goalie replacement for someone like a Fraser Forster at Celtic?
It would be lovely. The only problem with that is every club throughout Europe right now is thinking the exact same thing. And these are clubs that have far more resources. Granted, like you said, he's available on a free, but that's open season for everybody, and everybody's going to be ready. And there's rumors already that Barcelona are going to be in for him. Obviously, he'd be backing up Tuchel, but in terms of the wages that he is going to be able to command at the moment, we're never going to be able to compete. And that's just the unfortunate thing.
But there has to be, they can't be the most ridiculous wages in the world. The guy wasn't exactly playing for, fucking, Atletico or something. I mean, it's like
Yampi, we just ditched Joe Ledley and Georgie Samaras because they were on $25,000 a week, and that's far too much. And we're on the verge of ditching Scott Brown for the very same reason.
You're killing my fucking dreams here, man.
I'm sorry. You know what? Sean and I are going to be in the bummer tent. Take as much time as you need.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to stay here in Cloud Cuckoo Land.
No, listen. I think you're.
thing,
I think you're 100% right on. I mean, this is the type of thing where if Ochoa hadn't been, if Ochoa hadn't had probably one of the best goalkeeping performances, I mean, it's going to be the best goalkeeping performance in this World Cup, maybe of any World Cup. Of any World Cup that I've ever seen, and it was the best goalkeeping performance I've seen since Fraser Forster, stopped Barcelona.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. This would be like the perfect Celtic replacement.
If he hadn't done that and he hadn't gotten that exposure.
I mean, I'm like, I have my oars on each side of the boat here. One's on the Celtic side, one's on the World Cup side. But it's like, this guy would be fucking perfect, dude.
Listen, I can't agree with you anymore. The bad part of this is that he was probably on, with his club team in France, he was probably on higher wages than we'd be able to pay him to begin with. So he'd be priced out even if he didn't have that performance on Monday. Now that he had that performance on Monday, and now that he's going to have all this attention thrown on him, I mean, that just doubled what he could probably command, which would probably be on the order of $40,000 to $50,000 a week.
And that's just nauseating, dude. Absolutely nauseating. Well, yeah, okay. Sorry, but I didn't mean to segue off the Brazil thing, but I'm just...
Look, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I didn't even know I was going to do this tonight. I have zero outline, so just take it wherever it's going to go.
Go back to Brazil, talk about why... you want to encapsulate why I'm not a Brazil guy. One word, Neymar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's one of the least likable players ever. I mean, diving, cheating, petulant. I mean,
he's a cunt. And he does that little death roll thing every time he gets to the ground where it's like he's going to fucking just like spiral down a hill or something. It's like, dude, you were barely touched. Give it a fucking rest.
And that's a product of the protection that he's had playing in the Brazilian domestic league. Where he was the golden child. He came through 15, 16 years old playing for Santos. I mean, he was a superstar in Brazil at age 17 playing for Santos, and he was protected because that's another aspect of his game. You think about Ronaldo, to use it as an example, early on in his career, when he first went to United. I mean, he's just sort of this wiry, skinny guy, not really, much substance, meat on him. But I mean, he had all the skill and the talent and the technique in the world. And as time went on, and then he goes to Madrid, I mean, he's bulked up. He's got the physicality. I mean, there's just so many strings in his bow, so to speak. And Neymar isn't following that sort of trajectory, where he's just staying wiry. He reminds me of the guy that doesn't go to the gym and work out because he can pick up girls anyway, when he's skinny. It's besides the point. I mean, he feels like he can rely strictly on his talent, not be able to expand the gift that he's been given. And getting back to the original point, the protection that he's gotten accustomed to and used to from referees in Brazil has really just formed the way that he plays. It may take 2, 3, 4 years of him playing in a European setup and not getting those calls before he wakes up and he makes full use of his talent. But that's the disappointment. Removing all the sort of annoyances from it, I'm disappointed because you can see the talent in him, when he has the ball at his feet or whatever, and then, like you said, the slightest touch, he falls over, breaks up the rhythm of the play. I mean, it just becomes monotonous, and Brazil becomes completely hateable. I mean, they're the least likable Brazil side ever, and the shame of it is we're playing a World Cup in Brazil. I mean, they've turned into the Dallas Cowboys of international football.
That's what I mean. I can't think of a guy. People used to talk bad about Cristiano Ronaldo and stuff. And you look at all the things like that Ronaldo has done to help causes and everything, and I can't think of a more unlikable player, unlikable athlete than Neymar. I would really have to work at it, man, because he's a cunt, man. He really is. And there's just you can't put perfume on that pig. I mean, he's a jerk off. You see him out there, and it's like he's got so much talent, and he could be something incredibly memorable and special. Mm-hmm. And he's just content to be a fucking cheat. And that, for me, is he spoils the milk for how I perceive Brazil.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Brazil do well because I can't fucking stand Neymar.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just Neymar. I mean, I mentioned before Fred. I mean, who the fuck is Fred? I mean, he's absolutely atrocious.
Fuck Fred and Wilma too.
Exactly. Sean, your thoughts? This Brazil side. I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, we're rooting against Brazil in a World Cup that's being played in Brazil. This is bizarre.
Yeah, when I first started getting into the game, I mean, I loved watching the Brazilian team, early 90s.
How could you not love it?
But, I mean, and I think a lot of it is Neymar now for me. But I agree with you, Fred. I mean, who is Fred? I know a lot of people, I posted out on Twitter, who the hell is he? And I think Tony Watt is a huge Fred fan or something, and he's, showing how many goals he scores in Brazil or whatever that, but doesn't mean anything to me.
Oh, Tony Watt. You absolutely have to love. Dare to Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not like Tony Watt, man.
You don't like Tony Watt.
You don't like Tony Watt. You don't like air.
How could you not like Tony Watt? Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about let's tie in a Celtic element to this. We talked a little bit about this on Twitter earlier this evening. Your assessment, Yampi, I'll start with you. Your assessment of the Celtic players in this World Cup so far. We got a chance to see Sammy tonight play for Greece. Went down to 10 men. It's a thankless job going up against certainly a technically superior side in Japan. I was a little disappointed with the initiative that they showed tonight. I mean, it was probably one of the most boring games I've ever watched, and I'm not using hyperbole in that. It was a character-building experience, soul-drenching. Obviously you have FA, you have Izzy in this tournament. Nobody's really making a splash.
If the range to judge the performances of Celtic players in the World Cup was somewhere between the floor and a crocodile's pecker, be somewhere between those 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, just give me a grade between Crohn's disease and 10.
Dude, they
FA got a clean sheet at least.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, was that a pun? That might have been the greatest pun ever. Clean sheet. Ha, ha, ha.
Dude, they've been... come on. I mean, first of all, Sammy plays for a side that's not very good, and which is not the best motivational weapon for a guy who sometimes is about as inspired as a sponge. Yeah, and then you got fucking Izzy, Mr. Green Brigade poster boy, who plays for a bunch of Central American butchers.
Easy.
Dude, they fucking... that team, they're one step away from MMA. I swear to God.
All right.
Every time you turn, they're sweeping legs and fucking chopping knees out.
You got a point.
You got Izzy kicking balls in the balls. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the balls in the balls is definitely a rough one.
Look,
now you got FA. You got FA in, essentially, I mean, we hear of, the group of death. FA is in, the stench of death.
Dude, FA's club is so bad, I'll do a backflip when Nigeria gets
So if you'd like to make contributions for us to buy Yampi a GoPro so that we can put it on him while he does the backflip, please send your donations to beyondthewave67@gmail.com.
I will be there. If I ever have to see Nigeria again, it'll be too soon. See, I've suffered them once more than everybody else. And you busted my balls. I actually went to see them play Greece.
95 minutes of your life you will never get back.
It was like watching vomit versus shit in 100-degree weather. It was the worst of circumstances. You're like, boy, you must really hate being there. And I'm like, nah, it's not so bad.
You do paint a picture.
Down, I'm like, that motherfucker. Like, I'm staying for this whole fucking game now just to play it.
And it looked like the traffic was worth it as well.
Oh, it was awful. So the best part is I get stuck leaving PPL. And of course, it's always smart to have one lane leaving a major fucking venue.
It seems reasonable, especially when, there's only one bridge, essentially, practically, for the people going back to New Jersey. We're talking about PPL Park, which is the stadium that the Philadelphia Union play, and Yappy's talking about the Nigeria-Greece game that took place in Chester, Pennsylvania, the leafy suburb of Chester, just about a month ago. The pictures that you tweeted out absolutely made me really appreciate the fact that I was snuggled in my bed with my air conditioner going right next to me and some Wawa lemonade tea on my nightstand. I fell for you.
It was hot as fuck. We went, and I brought my 6-year-old son with me. And
has he talked to you since? Is he talking to you again, or?
Tonight he was like, Daddy, didn't we see that team? I'm like, did you know them by the jerseys or how bad they suck?
Listen, I was watching the last 10 minutes of that Greece game, and all of a sudden, the commentator says, and Samaras, he picks up the foul. And my wife says, Samaras, is he the one that's the donkey?
Sammy should have had a winner there at the end.
Yeah,
He's done, dude. He's done. You know what? I kind of been, I've had this nostalgia thing going lately.
I don't.
You know what kind of sparked it all was when he did the walk around the park after we won the trophy and everything, and he had the kid with him and everything.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he is nice to kids. You don't see that a lot.
But and that's that's one thing. You find a guy that gets it. We talk about getting it, being a Celtic player and everything else, and he gets it. Look, he's not the most technically gifted anymore. He's 29 now. So he still has some skills and some pace, but he's definitely on the downside.
Hot garbage.
He is what he is.
Hot
you know
garbage.
what you're getting. Sometimes he's motivated. Most of the times he's not.
Hot garbage.
But he gets it, knows what it means to be a Celtic player, and he kind of likes being there. So when you see him do something like that, and I'm like, you start to feel like you're a little bit of a cock if you criticize the guy recently.
He's hot garbage.
He's a dumpster fire.
Smells right.
Yeah, he seems to be more excited about doing fucking Head and Shoulders commercials than he does playing against St. Johnston. Maybe that's a metaphor for the whole fucking league, but that's another story.
Well, he does get equal amounts of praise for his hair as compared to his play on the field. So that tells you.
He looks like he cut it. He looks like he actually cut it.
It's true. He does have sort of that Kitty Carruthers, bob of
sorts.
sorts.
It's terrible.
Maybe like Eliza Minnelli,
He should just go Hartson and shave the whole fucking thing and just send everybody into a heart attack.
Keep the beard though.
He
go like Alan from The Hangover.
Yeah.
Who wants to join Sammy's Wolf Pack?
Sammy's Wolf.
I'm in.
Oh yeah, we know you're in.
I love the guy.
Sean's in, and he's bringing the Buckfast.
Sean, when we went to the Ireland, Costa Rica, I said, Sean, I don't know which one's the IPA. He's like, give me the growlers. I can smell it.
Sean does know his beer, that's for sure. Sean, what?
He's like a drug dog.
He's like Napoleon Dynamite from, this milk is polluted with bleach. This milk came from a cow that ate onions.
I wanted to give Sean a medal. He's like, this one's the one that's overhopped.
You have a gift. You have a gift.
Dude, that's easy. I could do that.
You are the beer sommelier.
I have a problem.
Tell us. No. It's a gift. Don't you must embrace it for good. What are you drinking this week? I mean, I know that you try different things out, and it's a lot of sort of experimentation, guess and check, so on and so forth. What's been the best beer that you've picked up, say, in the past 2 weeks? What are you on right now?
Right now, I'm on probably my second favorite beer I've ever had in my life. Stone Enjoy by IPA.
Stone Enjoy?
It's enjoy by, and it gives you the date that you're supposed to enjoy it by. But I bought a case of that about 2 weeks ago, and I'm working my way through that.
Every day.
Yeah, one a night probably. So
one a night. That seems reasonable.
Big bottles.
Well,
Johnny, what'd you think of the Bucky you had back at the fair?
Almost made me throw up.
You've soured on the Buckfest, have you?
Oh, that was awful. Especially at the end of the night, I was going back and forth between Bud Light and that.
Well, it seemed like you guys really hit it off. I don't know what went wrong.
I think it was just the one picture.
That was a classic.
Picture of me.
That was an absolute classic that will live in.
But now that it's Buckfast in cans, I might have to give it a new shot.
That's true. I mean, because the one thing that I think of with Buckfest is if it was only available in cans, then I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. But this bottle just can't be fucked.
It'd be nice if they put it in something bigger, like a big fucking growler. You give me 64 ounces of that stuff, and then it might be worth doing. See, to me, it was kind of like it's like our version of Mad Dog a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's something you drink when you're like in your like teens or 20s.
Yeah.
When you want to get just totally fucking apeshit crazy.
Hi, I'll have a keg of icy cold Buckfast, please. Thank you.
If you're a guy drinking Bucky in your 40s and stuff, you're probably the guy like you're getting home and throwing a chair out the fucking window because like someone reset your like fucking PlayStation 4 FIFA 14 game or some shit.
Yeah, if you drink Buckfast and you're in your 40s, you probably get in fights with parking meters.
You're probably a little more animated than a Buckfast drinker, the typical Buckfast drinker.
You probably celebrate goals by jumping up and down on the hood of your car.
You probably celebrate victories by putting stickers on banisters and railings and...
Too far.
Too soon?
Yeah, no. You've gone too far now. We must stop.
I have no filter.
All right, let's get to predictions here. First off, how far is the U.S. going to go? Are they going to make it out of this group? Yes or no? Yampi, I'll start with you second. Wait, can you start with somebody second? I'm starting with Sean. Sean, we're starting with you. Yampi, you go second.
How far is the U.S.? They will make it out of the group. Shockingly, I think they're going to.
And then they're going to die in a fire.
I'm going to get the 3 points out of Portugal, and that'll put them through.
Can you see them progressing any further than the first knockout?
I probably not. No.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't think this is as good a team as in recent years. I think just circumstances kind of worked in their favor.
Yeah.
To enable them to do it. So
yeah, I'd probably agree with you on certain elements. I think this team tactically, I believe it or not, I think Jurgen Klinsmann. I was a huge critic of his on the early sort of going. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a shock to the system because you can't get much further away from Bob Bradley. Captain Sweatpants than Jurgen Klinsmann, who wears sneakers on the touchline. I mean, not like trainers, like sneakers. Like he wears Vans on the touchline. But because he is so German. But he's trying to instill, more of an attacking presence. Bob Bradley was all about minimizing mistakes. Jurgen Klinsmann's like, let your balls hang out and see how great you can be. And, that takes some time to adjust and to sort of grow into it. Now, add into the fact that, you don't have a player. I mean, I don't want to open up this debate. And I mean, I think the debate has really been overcooked. But this whole Landon Donovan not going and, it's the worst decision ever. I don't really think it was the worst decision ever. I think that Landon Donovan's well past his prime. I think he's probably, 20 pounds overweight. I don't think his head or his heart is really even in it anymore. But not having the Landon Donovan of 4 years ago, and as was told by his performance from 4 years ago, not having that sort of player in this side, I think is a huge drawback. Graham Zusi's a great player, but he's no Donovan from 2010. And that's not, that's an unfair comparison. I mean, Landon Donovan arguably is the best American player that's ever played. The question is going to be, can Michael Bradley come out of whatever funk he was in against Ghana? Because I've never seen Michael Bradley play that bad ever before. If Michael Bradley can actually show up and, we can build off of that, this might be a great sort of opportunity for the players to sit back and think, we lost Josie Altidore up top. We lost our, probably our better of the two center halves, and we still got a result out of that game. And Michael Bradley was on Quaaludes. I mean, if that's the case, and if Michael Bradley can come back and have a very, very decent game, and Beasler can come back and be healthy, and we still beat Ghana, I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Bradley's game was shocking.
Awful.
Like, I couldn't believe it. I've never in my life seen him play like that.
I couldn't believe what I was saying.
Yeah, I know Yampy and me, we were both criticizing African and Asian teams, but I don't think
you're
Ghana's
racist.
a bad side. Yeah, I know. I think that's a decent Ghana team that we beat somehow. I honestly don't know how they won that game. So in that, it's one of those weird things, I think, where I think, not that it's destiny, but I think somehow they'll be able to pull it out against Portugal.
Yeah, no question. I mean, granted, like we said, it was not a thing of beauty, but at the end of the day, and talking to people at the bar after the game, it's like, oh man, they looked awful. It's like, who gives a shit? We got the 3 points. I mean, we'll make it look good, the next time. I'd much rather, win ugly, get the 3 points, and move on than, play a fantastically dynamic performance and get beat 4-3.
Pulling Australia against the Netherlands.
Oh God, what a heartbreaker! I was so, I was listening to it on the radio in my car, and I was so hoping that Australia was going to get that result.
Yeah, me too.
But Netherlands are they're just way too strong. I think everybody that they came out of nowhere. I mean, they're going to blindside everybody. I think that everybody was waiting for that inevitable, dressing room implosion. Robin versus Schneider, and he does the atomic leg drop on Van Persie, and somehow Van Gaal, at least to this point, to his credit, has been able to get them to play nice together. So we'll see if it lasts. If that can last, they're going to be dangerous. Yampy, your thoughts, predictions, hopes for the U.S. team for the rest of the World Cup?
Honestly, I think the U.S. is going to beat Portugal. We've beaten them before, 2002. I think Portugal's just ready to be had, kind of the way Spain was ready to be had by Chile. This is a little bit of a page turner, man. You see clubs like Portugal and Spain, they've had good times, but this is 2014, man. We're this U.S. team we're put together all right, man. We're going to be okay. I think people kind of overlook the U.S. a little bit. I think they figure that, we'll compete because that's what the U.S. does. We're not an overly gifted side, but we're a club that's going to, or a national side that's going to fight.
And athletic. We're gonna be athletic. We're gonna be physical. We're not gonna rely on sort of technical ability or attacking flair.
Right. The reason we win is because we don't quit.
Right.
As opposed to, we're actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to show Portugal that on Sunday. As for Germany, I think, like we talked about earlier, Germany's going to put a foot in our ass when they play us. That's just how Germany rolls.
Yeah, foot in Assen.
They're still, for me, it's either them or the Netherlands that are going to take this whole thing. But I think we're the second squad that's going to come out of this group. I think Portugal's ready to just call it a day, and Ghana's just not going to compete. I mean, they're an athletic team. They're not going to get it done. It's going to be us and Germany moving on. After that, I don't know. Will Altidore be healthy? We hope so. He's there for a reason. Landon Donovan. I don't care about Donovan. I talked to somebody, and they said to me, they kind of gave me something I kind of tried to wrap my head around. They said, what was done with Landon Donovan and not making the 23-man roster was what England should have done with Rooney and their 23-man roster. And I try to, you probably have a better understanding of the world game because, like I said, I'm more Celtic-minded. What do you think about that, dude? Is that a fair comparison? I mean, what do you think?
Wait, say that again?
The dude I was talking to said, Landon Donovan, he shouldn't have made the 23-man roster for the United States. And he said also that he felt, and he was an English guy, he felt that
oh God,
Rooney shouldn't have made the 23-man roster for England.
Okay, I think he needs to clean out his crack pipe.
I couldn't get my head around it either. I mean, I was like, I think Rooney is like, although after today, Rooney's probably losing his position as the favorite whipping boy for the English in place of Gerrard. But I think a lot of the England supporters, really, their first default was always to be like, oh, Rooney's overrated, Rooney sucks, Rooney's this, Rooney's that. So they were kind of like, oh, I wish they would do with Rooney what the U.S. and Klinsmann did with Landon Donovan, not include him on the 23-man roster.
I don't even think it's comparable. I think that Rooney is in the prime of his career, in spite of his performance in this. Sean, what are you doing? Are you putting up scaffolding or something?
He's found the buck fast and he's trying to stand up.
I think that he's like practicing, with the GoPro to do the backflip just in case Nigeria scores.
Dude, there's no way I would do that backflip, man.
Sean, are you there?
You're more nimble, dude. You can do it.
Sean, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me
okay.
now?
Are you doing? Was that Morse code that I was picking up, or was
No,
it?
I don't know. I don't know what that was.
Oh, all right. Very good. It sounds like. Do you have squirrels in your attic, or maybe there's squirrels in your microphone? Is there?
I'm sitting down in my basement, so I hope not.
Oh, all right. Fantastic.
So you have that bar in the basement, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
That's what you need.
He's got a fucking setup, Graham. He's got a setup that would put most regular pubs to shame, dude.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
He's got a board up there. This is what Sean's house is serving this week.
I know. I've seen that on Twitter. Where he's got the menu up there. And...
Yeah, I had my Friday night open bar night for neighbors and whoever else. Just an open invitation.
He's doing free pours for the good folks of Dublin, Pennsylvania.
Anytime you guys are in the neighborhood.
Just in case someone's doing a home invasion. He's got a stone.
Wait, hold on. Wait, put the flat screen down. He's having a free pour.
They're walking out with the signed Larson jersey.
Hello, dummy.
Sean, I think I hear someone in the basement. Hold on. It's like...
Thank you for your question, lady.
I just hung up the picture from the parade from in front of the Rocky statue. So
nice,
lovely,
very nice,
lovely stuff. We're gonna have to replicate the events and the goings on from last January once again in Philly. I think something's gonna have to be put on the books, so that we can have that again. I mean, how else is Sean gonna get the exposure, the experience with the Buckfest that he so desperately needs?
He needs it. I think like his mind is saying no, trying to be responsible. But that dark black heart of his is saying, drink it. It's like, let the evil flow, Sean.
That's wow.
That'd be great.
I've never heard such a rapey analogy. No means yes, Sean. No means yes. Drink the Buckfest, Sean. Just be quiet.
Bucky doesn't do well after having like 20 pints of Guinness and Magners.
No, I can see your point there. Yumpy, how far is the U.S. going to get? Are they going to get out of this group? And it seems like that's your belief. Are they going to, once they're in the knockout stages, how far realistically, in your opinion, are we going to get? Are we going to make it to the second round?
Man, I don't know. For me, the midfield is a major concern, even with Bradley there. I think they are very susceptible to counterattack.
If we qualify if we beat Portugal and we qualify, do we even want to play any of our first team players against Germany? I mean, and put them up against that?
No, if we're qualified already. But it'll be a fucking turkey shoot, dude. I mean, it's like
we are going to get wiped.
Yeah, you might as well. You just clear the bench. Let anybody in there pull fucking people out of the stands and stuff. Go ahead, get in goal. We'll give Tim Howard a rest. We're going to give everybody a rest.
This is what our game against Germany is going to be. I mean, it's going to be 95 minutes of Ramstein. I mean, seriously, like Michael Bradley running around the middle of the park with Bastian Schweinsteiger running behind him with a leather whip. Schnell, 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 schnell! Give me the ball back! Yankee Wipin, Yankee Doodle Dandy! Ball back now! Schnell!
Every time Germany scores, they need like the bubbles to come out of the fucking roof of American.
You are tactically inferior. You are an inferior side.
Dude, we would get crushed. I mean, look,
yeah,
they're a great fucking team. But
they're fun to watch.
I mean, they're
how ironic is it? How ironic is it that
they're like watching Bayern, dude? You don't have to like Bayern, but you know you.
How ironic is it that in 2014,
your two teams playing Bayern, they're probably going to get hurt.
Yeah, you're getting wiped. In 2014, it's like we're watching Germany play like Brazil of 20 years ago, and Brazil playing like Germany of 20 years ago. It's like it's backwards. It's ass backwards. But Germany is a lot of fun to watch because they never stop. You know, they have that German efficiency. Like, you know, they're just gonna schnell all over you with the Schwanzenstuckers.
They have a point to prove that they're better than you to a man on the pitch, and they're badass, dude. They are a badass team. I can't wait to see what they do against Ghana, because Ghana's, like I said, Ghana's athletic. Let's see what Germany does against them. Germany will come out there and they'll just fucking take them apart anyway. That's what Germany does. They are clinical, dude.
You know whatever. You know what else? You know what else Germany has?
The dude with Knight Rider.
They have the dude with Knight Rider. Yes. They have Hasselhoff, and they also have Yogi Love. Yogi Love.
No.
The manager of Germany is Yogi Love.
Yogi Love?
That's his name.
Stop it.
All right, there's this thing called Google. If you go to google.com
I'm not Googling that motherfucker.
and type in Germany national team, okay?
I'm Googling it, dude.
All right, go ahead and Google it.
Germany.
Yogi Love. That's not going to be...
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Yogi Love. Yogi Love.
I'm sorry, dude. I took Spanish in high school. I didn't take fucking German. It looks like Joachim Low.
Oh, no, it's Yogi. Yogi Love.
Okay. Fair enough. He's the dude who looks like, he used to be the manager of, like, NWO. Just a little fucking dark dude.
Scott Hart.
No. What was it? God, what was his name?
I think he looks like the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop, but that's just me.
I see that too.
Yogi Love.
I can't think of the guy's name.
Scott Hart.
Totally right.
Yeah, what was his name?
Scott.
God, he was like the Vince McMahon version of.
Yeah, it's Scott Hart.
No, it isn't Scott Hart.
It's Scott something or other. He was Hulk Hogan's manager when they first did the NWO thing.
He used to have like the black sprayed on hair.
Yeah. Yeah, he was Razor Ramon.
No, you're thinking of Scott Hall. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Scott Hall. That's it. He didn't look like him.
No, not Scott Hall. But he was like the guy who fucking ran. Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff. That's right.
That's it.
He looks Yogi Love.
Yogi Love.
With the black hair. And like the members only jacket.
Drop a knowledge on you right now, Yomp. Yogi Love was Jurgen Klinsmann's assistant prior to Jurgen Klinsmann getting the foot in the assen. And he was fired from the German national team. Yogi Love's been the manager for Germany for, like 8 years. How
do you get Yogi Love out of Joachim?
Yogi.
That's not Yogi, that's Joe Kim.
He's German, okay? What are you racist against them too?
Well, in light of their recent history, I Yeah, I can have a little more latitude than I would against anybody else.
Yogi Love.
That's fantastic. No, I think the U.S. at best might have, once they get out group stage, they might have a win in them. And that's about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you might be right about it. But I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to watch. You know, I think the 3 points was huge. I mean, if we don't get out of that game with at least a point, I mean, it's desperate. It's dour. You know, Klinsmann's going to be reeling. Confidence is going to be, you know, at an all-time low. You know, we're dealing with the injuries, and instead, you know, we're optimistic with it. And a mindset, you know, I mean, it carries a lot of weight, you know, in terms of how far any team's going to go. So
well, group stages are, you always need at least 4 to have a chance. 4 points to have a chance.
No
and it's
question.
like 3 was perfect.
No,
they got what they needed.
No
so
question.
Against Portugal, you need to take points away from them. But now you're not under as much duress to get that win because you already had that under your belt. But another win against Portugal, you've sewn up what you need to sew up, and then you can rest people. That's the best case scenario. But, yeah, I think the U.S. has 1 win. Who do you rate better, Germany or the Netherlands?
Germany, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Better than Arjen Robben?
Oh, yeah, he's a
Better
diving.
than RVP?
Robin Van hurt me. No, yeah, sorry. You could have half the German team go out with injury, and they'd still beat the Netherlands.
How about you, Shawnee?
No question.
Yeah, I think Germany too.
Germany's.
We are the technical superior race.
I just don't see anybody stopping.
Silence.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, how about on Monday? Who's going to be up Monday at like 5:45 in the morning when Celtic is supposed to find out who they get in the Champions League qualifier?
Not me, because when I wake up at 6:45, it'll still be the same team.
Oh, really?
Really?
I'm not curious to see what they pick out of the Burgundy glass.
I'm not dying to find out that we're going to play against St. Patrick's of Ireland or, you know,
Cliftonville.
the Flurgan Lurgan of Jurgen. With the
Strom Godset.
Strom Godset. That sounds like a roller derby team.
I told you, that's fucking, what's his name? Delia's old club in Norway, man.
Oh, yeah, strong hard knot.
They sound like the opening act for Metallica, man.
Yeah, strong hard knot. Give him a hand. Yeah.
Come on, you're not a little bit fucking just like wanting to.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm missing Celtic a little bit.
Oh, I'm missing him big time. Absolutely. And, you know, I've never been this excited about a managerial appointment. And not just a managerial appointment, but like seeing the appointment of John Collins. For me, I'm very encouraged by it. I'll be honest. I mean, I think this is a very well thought out appointment, you know, on both ends. And I'm excited. I mean, this is going to be a much more, you know, all credit to Neil Lennon, but this is going to be a much more cerebral side going forward. You know, you're going to see a lot more sort of nuance. You're going to see a lot more fine-tuning, in my opinion. No longer are we going to see Charlie Mulgrew perhaps being played at center forward just to get him into the side. I mean, no slag, you know, I'm not trying to slag Charlie Mulgrew there, but you know, there's going to be a much finer point on this side going forward. And I know that, you know, a lot of the promises or implications were similar with Mowbray, but this is a completely different vibe as compared to Mowbray. Mowbray wanted to come in and play attacking football and this, that, and the other. First off, it was much later. Mowbray was appointed, I believe, in early July. Didn't have much time to prepare, get his ducks in a row, etc. Ronnie's going to have a lot more time to do that, but I mean, Mowbray was a guy that was, I don't want to say he was on the balls of his ass, but he just got West Brom relegated. You know, I mean, there just wasn't a lot of panache with him. Wasn't a lot of upside. I mean, it just reeked of retread. You know, whereas Ronnie coming in has the same sort of vibe as the players that we pick up. Like, Jesus, I hope we can keep him for more than a couple of years. You know, that's sort of the vibe that I have. You know, where, I mean, he's going to come in. I have every confidence he's going to be very successful. He's going to kick on from where Neil Lennon got this team. And like I said, fair play to Neil Lennon and, you know, much appreciation for what he brought. But I think it's going to get taken to the next level. And when that does happen, I mean, given the plaudits that he started with, where, they're calling him the Scandinavian Jurgen Klopp, which is a huge compliment, and then he comes to a massive club like Celtic, has that same level of success, and you're going to have clubs from England knocking on his door. You're going to have continental clubs knocking on his door. Because remember, just because he's a manager of Celtic, I mean, he's Norwegian, so he is continental by DNA, and continental managers, by this definition, have a much easier time going to different cultures, learning different languages as compared to the British, where, I mean, how many British managers have gone overseas and had a great deal of success in different countries, different cultures, etc. Venables, Roy Hodgson is a good example. He's had a lot of success in Scandinavia, Switzerland, he had a cup of coffee at Inter. Robson, obviously at Barcelona.
About a handful.
But it's not a sort of plentiful side. I'm talking my way right out of this theory, by the way. McLaren. McLaren had a cup of coffee at Twente, won the league there, and picked up a bit of a Dutch accent. Good for him. He
got a nice parting gift.
Trying to play sexy football in Dutch.
He would have had no problems pronouncing Yogi Love.
Yogi Love. The greatest name ever. I mean,
well, at least you know that there's a nice number 2 in position if Delia ever leaves.
Yogi Love. Yeah, we're going to play some sexy football. Now, Schnell! How do I turn this off? There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited about, about what Dyla's going to bring in. I'm not so excited that I'm going to wake up at 5:45, to find out who we're going to play in the first round, because we're absolutely going to pump them rotten.
I'm curious, man. I want to know.
Well, I'm curious, but it's like I said, it's going to be the same team. They're not going to change it between 5:45 and 6:45 a.m.
It's not the point, man. It's just being up, and you kind of like.
All
it's
right.
like if it was getting ready for a normal game day, man. You're up early.
Yeah, but there's no game. The game doesn't start for another month.
You're such a grouch.
You're right.
I'll be up with you, Yoppy. My kids will have me up, so
yeah. See,
we could discuss.
See, but you're not going out of your way to wake up. You're just up by default, because your kids are up.
Whatever you say, Pop.
Fine, wake me up. Call me and give me a wake up call. I'll wake up with you, and then you know what? I'll have the confetti gun out in the front yard. St. Patrick's, yeah. Can I go back to bed now?
Billy Cliftonville again. Can make those motherfuckers.
Yeah. Red Army.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Get excited a little bit. Christ. Yeah, Lord.
I'm very excited.
Come on, you're watching fucking Greece and Japan right now. You're going to tell me that to find out who Celtic gets in the first round is going to be any worse than that?
Yeah. I can't
Did you
wait.
order your new Yes for Independence top yet?
I did. I'm looking forward to getting it.
Did you get your Magners on the front?
I did not.
God. Sonny, did you get yours?
I haven't ordered it yet.
See, this is why American Tims drive me crazy, all right? I have a theory.
Uh-oh.
I have a theory. I was undecided whether to get the Magners label or not. It should have been
undecided? Vote yes.
Hold on. It should have been a no-brainer no on the Magners label because of what they did in Philly and with the Real Madrid whole weekend. And when I put it out on Twitter, all the Scottish Tims seemed like they were like, absolutely not. I don't want the label on there. Just
no.
Getting the top.
It doesn't look good. Put the Magnus thing aside. It doesn't look right.
Oh, let me finish. And I asked all the American Tims, and they're all like, yes, absolutely. I'm getting the Magners logo on the front.
Bunch of drunks.
So here's my theory, and I'll probably get flamed about it on Twitter, but I don't give a shit because I keep it real. I think that it is popular, seeing if you know the Magners logo that you guys do with the barrels on the front that says Irish cider, that it is in some way Americans embracing more of their Irish identity by having that logo on the front with the Irish cider Magners thing on the front, whereas Scottish people don't give a shit about such things because, well, they're by Celtic Park. They, kind of have that connection to their heritage 7 days a week. We don't live, we're not like fucking like 7 days a week immersed in, like Celtic and hear about it on the news and hear it on sports radio. We get caught up in other things. So we have a chance to embrace our kind of like ethnic identity. We do so. As such, when there was like the logo on there with Magners Irish Cider, it was mostly American Tims were like, yeah, absolutely, I would get it on there. And Scottish Tims were like, nah, I'm not fucking getting it. Besides, I think that for like a lot of Scottish people, they don't really want that corporate connection. It kind of like gives them a little bit extra sense of identity as well. I don't know. What do you think, dude?
I think that if I'm wearing it, it should look right, and it doesn't look right with that stupid Magners on it. And that has nothing to do with, with the fact that Magners did us dirty, when they came over and all that. It has nothing to do with it. It just doesn't look right. Now
I feel like a jerk off because I got it with the logo on there.
No, it looks good on you, though. It looks good on you, though.
Well, I don't know. That's why I was torn, because when you have half of the people saying, nah, I don't get it, dude, and the other half of the people, it's like the fucking angel and devil on your shoulders, And it's like the other half saying, nah, I get it, man, get it. I'll fucking send it back to them. Take it off there. I love the top. I think it's a great top.
Yes. Down with Graham Wilson.
Hello?
Down with Graham Wilson.
Unbelievable.
What?
Nah, Paul Larkin, needs a night off, and then he just sort of lurks anyway.
What?
Unbelievable. Oh, no, he just chimes in randomly with the sound bites.
Yes. Down with Graham Wilson. Down with Graham Wilson.
See? I can't even get away from him. Unbelievable.
Well, there are worse people that you could be.
He doesn't care what they say, as long as they're talking about it.
That's true. I don't care what they say. Oh, well. I mean, I hear everything. You know that. I get all sorts of abuse on Twitter.
You are an all-ever-present being.
All the time.
Wilson, you fucking cunt.
Well, that was kind of a weird way to, like... I don't know. Yeah, I like the top, dude. I think this is the first time in a while I've actually liked any of the tops.
I mean, it's a perfect, poignant political message. The tartan going up against, whatever that Drek is that Sevco.
Here's another thing. This is why you can't tell me that these two fucking clubs still don't kind of like work behind the scenes with each other. So Sevco's going to come out with that little Union Jackie kind of top, and Celtic's like, oh yeah, well, we're just coming out with this tartany kind of top, and it's going to be a vote for independence year too. So I'll tell you what, you spice it up with that on that side, and we'll spice it up with this on this side. It'll just look all so coincidental.
No.
Not at all, dude. It's just total fucking coincidence, right?
There's totally collusion going on between the sides. You know that, right?
That's fucking Lowell, dude. Come on, man. He sit there talking with his boys over there. Okay, man. How can we maximize our profits on selling these tops? Let's all put our heads together. We'll all cash in on the fucking. It's the independence vote this year, so let's fucking do it upright.
Would you please pass it, Jalen?
I'm just as guilty as everybody else. Fucking shelling out the $122 for a fucking jersey.
Sean, your thoughts here?
I missed that whole thing you guys are talking about.
Lawwell and the Huns in it together. Lawwell and the zombies. Collusion. Your thoughts?
A little bit probably.
Show me the
Hopefully
money.
not though. I'd like to think not.
Show me the money.
Shawnee, I said that you seen the Celtic top, it's the tartan top, and I don't know if you had noticed it, but Sevco came out with one of their tops as being like a Union Jack type top.
Yeah, I did see that.
You see like the hints of the Union Jack in there. And
Yeah.
my suggestion was that Peter Lawwell and his fucking counterparts at Ibrox probably all put their heads together and said, what's the way we could maximize profits in like selling merch, and then be like, oh, okay, well, it's the Independence Vote this year. That's one of the big things that everybody mentioned. How can we capitalize on that? There you go. One side covers the no, the other side covers the yes, and we all feed into it because we're all like little fucking seagulls following the trawler.
Could be,
just
man.
this much.
Jeez.
You'll be flying
I'd
a
hate to think
cargo
that,
plane
but
full of rubber dog shit out of
who
Hong
knows?
Kong.
Why would you hate to think that, Sean?
Because I don't like to think of Celtic colluding with Rangers anymore. I feel like that should be done.
Well, it seems as though there's a bit of a hot debate here in terms of, do you have the sponsor on your kit or do you leave the sponsor off? Well, what's your take on that? Do you prefer not having the sponsor or having the sponsor on there?
I always have had it on there, but I mean, I think it depends on the top, just on the look of it.
Do you
But
think
the Magners one on this one?
Do you think
I would like it no Magners on the new one. I like the Magners on the home top from last year, for whatever reason.
So why wouldn't you get it on this one then? Because you already have it on one? Or
No, I don't have it yet, so I would probably not get it if I was ordering it.
Where the fuck was everybody when I'm sitting there asking? God damn it.
I wasn't there. I don't remember.
See, now I feel stupid because I got it without the sponsor on it.
Now we're all, no, I'm not getting the logo. Motherfuckers.
I do love Magners, though.
There's a surprise.
See what I finally settled on for the name on the back?
No, what'd you do?
Did you get a
16.
16?
Connolly, 16.
That's a good one. Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking it was going to be, like Francis Hughes, 81 or whatever. I mean, you're just going to go right down.
Yeah, after the little incident I had at the Fairley in January because of the Sands one I was wearing.
You should just call up. You should just pay the money. Call up the Superstore and be like, "Hi, I'd like a jersey with Sands 81 in the back. I'm sorry, but that's just too controversial. We can't make that. Okay, how about Hughes 81? No, I'm sorry, we can't do that either. Okay, O'Hara 81. How about O'Hara? Is that?
I'll get it in time for the 2018 season.
Yeah, no. Listen, we can do Hughes 81, but we're not doing Sands 81. That's just too far.
Use other names as leverage. I never told you about that. You remember we did the whole broadcast at the Fairley, right? And I was wearing the Sands top that night. And I actually had another Tim, an American Tim, get in my face because I was wearing a Sands 81 top.
Oh, go fuck yourself. Seriously. Who said that?
What? I told you the story, Sean, right?
Yeah, you told me that.
Who was that?
He was like a kid in his like mid-late 20s. He got in my face, and you know what he said to me? He says, well, how would you like it if I got an Osama bin Laden jersey?
How would you like it if I put you in a mayonnaise jar?
I said, dude, this is America. Get whatever the fuck you want on the back of your jersey.
Yeah, seriously. What a dick.
Like, seriously? Is that what Bobby Sands, Osama bin Laden, huh?
He doesn't care what they say, as long as they're talking about
First thing that came to mind, huh?
What a dick. See, this is what happens when Americans drink too much.
Exactly, dude.
Just shut your mouth.
He's like spitting chicken tenders all over the place and everything, and I'm just like, that was when it was like about time to roll.
Just shut up. Shut up, dick.
Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? How would you like it if I got an Osama bin Laden top? Like, what the fuck you want, dude? Like, are you serious?
What a dick.
Takes all kinds to make the world go round, bro.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Exactly.
Okay. On that note, brother, I got to put the kids to bed.
All right. Who's winning the World Cup? Before we go to bed, let's wrap this up. Yampy, one team. Who's going to win
it? Dude, I can't say Germany. You know why I can't say Germany?
9!
Because after Reyes got hurt, Marco Reyes, I said, no way are they going to win. So I can't be a hypocrite. So I'm going to say the Netherlands. I said it. The Netherlands are going to win the World Cup.
It's a bold.
And that'll stand out true to form, just like I said, the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl.
What is this about you picking out teams to win things that have the same exact colors as the New York Mets?
Because they all have one thing in common. They invariably suck when you need them to do something important.
You're like King Midas in reverse.
I am, dude. Everything. I'm the fucking mush from A Bronx Tale.
Listen, Coffee Cake, go back and stand in the toilet. I don't want him looking at that face.
You should put me in the fucking bathroom when it comes to make
Frankie the Whale, go back in the bathroom. I don't want that kid looking at his face while he throws my dice. Yampy, thanks for joining me tonight. It was fun. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem, bro. It's been far too long, man.
All right. Be good.
So, have a good one. Late, Charlie. Take care.
See you, Scotty.
All right, Sean, now that he's gone, who's your pick?
I am going to go with Argentina.
Ooh, that's bold. I like that. See, if Argentina can maintain their balance, I mean, everybody knows that they have all sorts of attacking assets. I mean, you have, the unfortunate thing is they have 5 dynamic strikers, that are having to fill in sort of a midfield role. The good news is, they have players that can track back somewhat. I mean, Di Maria, down the left-hand side. I mean, I don't like him. I think that he has a very smackable face. But, in the Champions League final, he was extraordinary, as much as it pains me to say it. And the other night, he was quite good until Argentina, for some reason, shat the bed and took their foot off the gas. But that's a good call. If they can keep it balanced and be able to maintain possession, I think that's going to be the key. As I mentioned before, the best way to keep the pressure off of your back line is to keep the ball. So, if they can do that and if they can maintain the onus, and if they can avoid the tendency like they did in 2010 to only have 4 players in the middle of the park, or even 3 players, playing a 4-3-3, which I think is very likely. Their midfield has a tendency to get overrun, and when that happens, one pass can completely open up the entire team. Their backline is old, it's decrepit, it's slow, and they can be had. But how sweet would that be? Leo Messi, all the detractors, et cetera, et cetera. I love me some Messi, and if he can win the World Cup and win the World Cup in Brazil,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be.
I think that has a part in it too, being in South America. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
A little bit of sting off of Germany. I think it's going to be. Germany will be tough to beat too, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Argentina.
Yeah, Germany is definitely tough.
No Brazil.
No, definitely not Brazil. I'd see them going out early, and you want to see riots.
Yeah.
I think that coming in, I was thinking, well, the heat is going to get to some of these European teams. I haven't seen it. I really haven't. I mean, we've seen Germany play in the heat. Didn't phase them one bit. Blitzkrieg. I mean, they move forward with such tempo that the Heat doesn't even have a chance to catch them. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, are they going to have a letdown coming into this Ghana game? Remains to be seen. This has banana skin written all over it. I think they'll win, but similar to the Netherlands coming up against Australia. Everybody said that the Netherlands was just going to put Australia right through the grinder. And, kangaroo bits all over the place. And it was a lot tougher than they thought. That might be the similar setup. I do think Germany's going to get through it, but it's just a matter of can they maintain that sort of intensity, throughout. But, Netherlands, I don't think they quite have the fortitude at the back. I think they're a little susceptible, especially on the counter. I think the one team that everybody's falling asleep on is France. And I'm going to go with the dark horse. I'm going to say France.
Wow. Yeah, I'm tough.
Did I lose Sean? I lost him. Unbelievable. Are you there?
Still there?
Yeah, okay.
Going in and out of me a little bit.
All right. Very good. We'll wrap it up. I got your pick. Argentina.
Hopefully it comes true. I'd love to see Messi win one.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I would love to see it as well. I'll go with France, just out of argument's sake.
I hate the French. So.
I hate the French too, but I like a dark horse. So, and you know what? They don't have Ribery this time, so that immediately makes them 10 times more likable. For whatever that's worth. But did I lose you again? All right, I think I lost Sean. Sean, thanks for calling in, pal, and thanks again to Yampi for joining me. You know, like I said, giving Paul a night off to regroup, charge the batteries, etc. 10 in a Row podcast will be returning very, very soon with all sorts of topics, all sorts of announcements to share. Exciting stuff coming up for this upcoming season. So stay tuned to Hail Media for that and all sorts of other shows that will be bringing you World Cup content and otherwise. But for now, that's goodbye from me. And I just want to thank Scott and Sean for joining me again tonight. And hope everybody is enjoying the World Cup as much as I am. It's really been phenomenal. And as World Cups go, certainly, this has been entertaining. It's got all sorts of storylines, and it's just kicking off, really. So loads more to come. But in the meantime, hail, and keep the faith, and we'll talk to you soon. Take us out, as always, Shane McGowan and the Pokes. Good night.
The island, it is silent now, but the ghosts still haunt the waves. And a torch lights up a famished man who fortune could not save. Did you work upon the railroads? Did you ride the streets of crime? Were your dollars from the White House? Were they from the 5 and dime? Did the old songs start to cheer you? And did they still make you cry? Did you count the months and years? Or did your teardrops quickly dry? I know that it was not to be on a copping ship. I came here and I never even got so far that they could change my name. Thousands are sailing across the western ocean to a land of opportunity that some of them will never see. Fortune prevailing across the western ocean, their bellies full, their spirits free. They'll break the chains of poverty and they'll dance. In Manhattan's desert twilight, in the dead of afternoon, we stepped hand in hand on Broadway, like the first man on the moon. And a blackbird broke the silence as you whistled, it's so sweet. And in Brendan Behan's footsteps, I danced up and down the street. And we said goodnight to Broadway, giving it our best regards. Took our hats to Mr. Cohen, dear old Times Square's favorite bird. Then we raised a glass to JFK and a dozen more besides. When I got back to my empty room, I suppose I must have cried. Thousands are sailing again across the ocean with a hand of opportunity. tickets.